when you feel confident, it's easier for me to feel confident. When you guys trust each other, you had a natural in to him. If there was something that was kind of bugging me, I could ask you about it, and you can, well, give Rodrigo 5 minutes about that, or let me talk to him. Or it was very, it, it, there was a band-like quality.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Movie Podcast. My name is Daniel. I am one of your hosts today, and joining alongside me is my brother from another mother and father, Shabazz. Hello, Shabazz.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
You know, man, I'm doing great. The post-Tiff feeling where I'm a little, well, at least for us, you know, we're wrapping everything up. We maybe just got one movie left, I think. But yeah, man, tired, but I feel great.
Yeah, it's tiring, it's fulfilling, it's a very large range of emotions that I think that we've been going on ever since, you know, we came back from LA. It's been like just nonstop movies, reviews, interviews. It's been a lot of fun. Like, we love it. But especially this last week when you throw a film festival into it, it gets a little busy.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a little busy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like you said, Shay, we're almost, you know, we're coming towards the end of all of our TIFF coverage. We have some incredible reviews out right now. If you're looking for our reviews for films like Weird, the Al Yankovic story, or The Whale, or you know what, if you want to hear us talk to Brendan Fraser and screenwriter Samuel D. Hunter, you could do that right now on the Movie Podcast. We have so many incredible episodes out. More reviews. The Fablemans, Moon Age Daydream, Glass Onion, Pearl. There's so many reviews. Shay, do you have a favorite film of TIFF so far?
You know, I keep thinking about that, and I think The Fablemans so far was my favorite film. Yeah. And then tied for number 2, very similar movies. You have Weird and you have The Whale. Both start with W, so that's probably the closest similarity they have. But they both had me on opposite ends of my emotions. Like, you know, Weird had me laughing really, really loud, and Whale just had me so serious but so zoned in, and had me so empathetic during the whole film. So both the emotions are my favorite. I love empathy and I love laughing. So I kind of felt like those two really encompassed my number 2 spot.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a very interesting doubleheader of films to do for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you know, we've been really lucky to watch a lot of amazing films at TIFF. You know, we didn't watch, you know, anything too, I mean, if you're listening to this and you think 10 films is a lot at a festival, you're totally right. It's a lot of movies. We had a lot of sleepless nights, but you know, there are, you know, we have friends and colleagues who, you know, do 20, 30 plus films, which if you could do it, my hat's off to you. My hat's already off. But like, hats off to you, because it is, my brain, I think, would just be turning to mush at that point.
Yeah,
Today on the show, though, it's a very special episode because just like we had Brendan Fraser and Samuel D. Hunter join us, you know, we have another dynamic duo joining us on the show today. And of course, with it being TIFF, this is part of our Toronto International Film Festival coverage. Shay, who are we talking to on the Movie Podcast today?
I mean, legends themselves. We're talking to Ethan Hawke and Ewan McGregor, both E's, so they were double E in my opinion. That's how I refer to them.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke are starring in Rodrigo Garcia's Raymond Ray, which premiered at TIFF. It is going to be available on Apple TV Plus on October 21st. So you'll be able to watch it at home very, very soon. We also have a review out for it right now. We love the film. We had a great time with it. It's such a authentic film. And Shay, you had the opportunity to talk with Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke. I had the opportunity to talk with Rodrigo Garcia, and Shay, you also spoke with Maribel Verdú and Sophie Okonedo. We're going to be dropping those interviews closer to the release of the film. But today, Shay, Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke, you know, how are you feeling going into this interview?
Definitely nervous, mostly because I didn't want to say anything that would like throw them off. I see a lot of their interviews and they seem very
We're gonna
friendly.
like jump and scare them.
And I like Ethan and Ewan are almost on the very different spectrums of like how their personalities are, in the sense that Ethan is very stoic and like very polite, but also just he'll look at you and be like, well, how can I have an intellectual conversation with you? And Ewan is a lot more of like more on the fun side. Like he's just kind of like joking around a lot. So it was nice kind of walking in the room and they're both just staring at me. And they both smiled, and I'm like, okay, I'm safe. And then I said my name, and they were like, "Oh, we love your name." They both had British accents for some reason.
No, they interesting.
but they kept saying my name. They said how much they loved it, and I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
like this is really cool. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I know when you opened the door, or where they opened the door when you were coming out, they looked right into the hallway and they saw me, and I was just kind of just like,
yeah,
like I just froze like a deer in headlights, because they just have these piercing eyes that like I feel just saw into my soul.
Mhm.
As did Brendan Fraser when we spoke to him this week. It was just
yeah.
like, oh my god, like they like you just feel the energy coming off of them, you know. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so glad you had the opportunity and to do it in person. It was pretty amazing. I just want to say thank you to our friends at Apple TV Plus for making this happen. It was a huge, we can't thank you enough. You know, we love working with Apple. You know, we say it all the time that when we look at the shows and the films that Apple TV Plus has been releasing in such a short amount of time, it really is so impressive. And when you see obviously what happened with Coda at the Oscars, and just it really is magical. It's absolutely incredible. And you want to make sure you want to check out Raymond and Ray on Apple TV Plus in October 21st. And there's lots of more interviews to look forward to. Like I said, Rodrigo Garcia, Sophie Okonedo, and Maribel Verdú, who we had the opportunity to talk to as well. Look forward to that. They'll probably be a few weeks from now, closer to when this film is going to be releasing. But without further ado, please welcome Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke to the Movie Podcast.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. You know, Ethan, you looked phenomenal last night with your sparkly suit.
Thank you.
You and you as well. You and Mary looked great. Mary did look a little better than you, though. I'm so sorry.
Dare you?
No, she certainly did. Of course she did.
Ethan, you're no stranger to playing trumpets in previous roles that you've done in your life. Was this something that you brought to the character, or was this something that was already incorporated into the script prior?
You know, I felt this way when I read it. I felt like this character is right. It's positioned for me in a way that I understand intimately. I love music. My whole life, I'm such a music fan. I had played Chet Baker before. The whole world, the jazz world, is something I know a lot about. I have a lot of love for. And so Ray it was an easy fit for me. I felt like the first character in a few years that I could just try to disappear completely into, and try to do as little work as possible.
You and for yourself, you've known Ethan for so many years now. What was the experience like, kind of playing these two characters that don't really see eye to eye?
It was amazing. I mean, Ethan and I met a long time ago, like you say, when he was making Gattaca with Jude Law, and Jude and I were mates. And so we met each other then. And at that stage in our careers, you know, when one of us got a job, it was like this big deal, big energy around it. And for sure, I felt like, I'm going to work with Ethan next. And it's just taken a long, long time for that to happen. And we didn't know each other in that period of time, although we were both fans of it. You know, we were both aware of each other's career. I always felt that there was this, like a likeness in our work, the kinds of people we worked with, the kind of movies we made, and our just relentless work ethic. It was just worked all the time. I just always felt like there was something similar about us. And that one day it would be an amazing experience to work with Ethan, and it was true. It was worth the wait.
Is there something that you guys learned about yourselves from each other's characters that you've now kind of applied to your own life?
I would love for that to be true, or if I could find a way to say that would make sense. You have these experiences working together, and obviously you learn, and obviously things happen. I sometimes don't know for a few years what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's unique to be as like-minded as the two of us are. I know I don't come across that very often. It was wonderful for me to get to, you and Rodrigo had made a movie together. They had a natural trust with one another that I loved, because when you feel confident, it's easier for me to feel confident. When you guys trust each other, you had a natural in to him. If there was something that was kind of bugging me, I could ask you about it, and you can, well, give Rodrigo 5 minutes about that, or let me talk to him, or it was there was a band-like quality,
right?
You know, that I felt like I was joining this band that had a lot of trust with each other, and they had a lot of trust in me.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thanks.
I wish we had more time.
Amazing, and I can't wait else to see it.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
And welcome back, Shay. Take it away. What were your immediate thoughts after that?
I as you're walking out of that room, you immediately start to forget what just happened because it just feels like a fever dream. And it wasn't until I rewatched my interview that I was like, oh my God, I was in the same room as these people and I got to shake their hands and talk to them. And they were extremely polite and very courteous and such a joy. Like and we say this all the time, but I wish we could have done like 45 minutes an hour because I'm sure we would have gone on and talking about not just this movie but all their projects. I mean, Ethan recently just had the documentary come out about the Newmans, I believe, right? And then Ewan, just Obi-Wan Kenobi, so there's probably so much that he probably wants to talk about as well. So God, there's such and like what I love about it is that they've been friends for so long, as Ewan mentioned, but this is like their first time really working together on screen. And you kind of think about it and you're like, why did it take this long? Like, but we got them in a project that is so perfect for them. It makes sense. Because there's such clashing personalities in the movie when people get a chance to watch it. And I can't wait for people to watch it because the movie has really lingered with me. It's really, really stuck with me.
Definitely. And of course, the movie in question is Raymond and Ray. You'll be able to watch it on Apple TV Plus on October 21st. And look forward to our continued coverage of this film with our interviews with the director, Rodrigo García, Sophie Okonedo, and Maribel Verdú very, very soon on the Movie Podcast. And again, thank you to our friends at Apple TV Plus for making this happen. As always, you can catch a brand new episode of the Movie Podcast a lot throughout the week. So look forward to all of that. We have lots of reviews, lots more interviews coming. Tiff may be wrapping up, but there's so much shows and movies and coverage coming your way. So look forward to all of that. If you want to write and be part of the show, you could do so at hello@TheMoviePodcast.ca. And make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd at The Movie Podcast. Our show notes for everything are in our show in the links below. I also want to encourage you, please join our Discords. Our episodes may end, but the conversation doesn't have to. Join our Discord. We're having some great conversations in there. That was this time with the Movie Podcast, and we'll see you next.